Storytelling in sales is about connection and relationships. People want to get to know you. The more you can provide them with what's going on in your life or what you've experienced or what has driven you to do jewelry or what's inspired you to do jewelry really speaks to people.
You're listening to Thrive by Design, business, marketing, and lifestyle strategies for your jewelry brand to flourish and thrive. Let's get started.
Welcome to the Thrive by Design podcast, episode 185. I have a guest here today, Robin Kramer. Robin, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tracy. I'm super psyched to be here.
Robin, for those of you, you probably know, everyone knows Robin, but if you're new to the show and you're just listening, Robin is my co-founder over here at Flourish and Thrive Academy. I host the podcast, but several times a year I have her on the show to talk about and share her brilliance, which is very important because she is a genius, and that's why we co-founded the company together. And she just loves sales and the power of a jewelry brand story to actually grow your business. Robin, tell us a little bit about why that's so important to you.
Well, Tracy, I'm so passionate about this because there's a lot of jewelry out there. And how do you stand out? And people buy from those they know, trust, and like. And what sets you apart is your story. If you've heard from me before, I'll always say a circle is a circle is a circle. It's your twist to it. It is your story, and people will come back to you again and again because of you.
100%. And absolutely, that is so, so true. And there's a known statistic that 65 to 70% of information shared through stories is retained by the people actually watch or listening to the storytelling, as opposed to only 5% of information that is retained through maybe like a dry presentation or like the delivery of facts. So this is really important to remember this, because if you're only trying to sell your jewelry based on the USP or the physical properties of what you're actually doing, you're going to be like 65 to 70% behind. And this is a statistic from tenfold.com. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about how to use storytelling that sells more jewelry today for a very specific reason. And it starts with our Laying the Foundation course, because when Robin and I first formulated this course, it was all about leveraging what we now have formed into the desired sharing proposition. And in the desired sharing proposition, we teach you how to develop and formulate a story based on your core values, your why and your reasons for actually designing jewelry in the first place. And we teach you the steps to actually connect that to what your customers, your dream customers, actually want to buy from you most. And when you figure out how to do this through storytelling format, you literally will surpass and basically crush your competitors. And Robin and I don't like to think of people in the jewelry industry as having lots of competitors, because we really believe that when you become really good at storytelling, you can stand alone. And so and you don't have competition at that point. And when you do this really well, building a business, growing a business, attracting raving fans and more dream clients and those perfect customers who always buy from you becomes really easy. And Robin, I know you agree with me right here, right?
I do. I wholeheartedly agree with you. And also what's really wonderful about really honing in on your story is that your fans, your dream clients will follow you as your story changes through the years, because it will.
Right? Absolutely. That is part of the desired sharing proposition that we teach, because it's all about bringing those people along that journey and knowing how to keep them hooked on everything that you do. And so that's why today's sponsor for the show is our Laying the Foundation course. It's currently open for enrollment. And, I'm so passionate about the foundations of what we teach in this course, and the designers who have taken it over the years have had such amazing results. And one of the reason is because you take the course, but it's information and the philosophy and the groundwork that we teach in this course are things that you will continue to use over and over and over and over again in your business. And I think of and Robin, I know you can probably call like 15 students to mind. And I'm going to ask you like some of your favorite stories from our students as well of designers who've just grown. And like one that comes to mind, immediately is Anna Maria Andrikin of Jewel of Havana. She found us like, maybe the second time that we ever ran Laying the Foundation. With the second year that she had started her business, and after she had taken our course, was taken down by about a breast cancer and had to basically quit all of her shows. And that was the way that she made money, was through her shows. And by doing the work and implementing what we teach about storytelling and creating a connection with your customers, she was able to not only replace her income within like $1,000 of what she previously made, but she was able to do this while recovering from breast cancer in bed, which is, to me, like the most amazing thing. And over the years, her business has grown. She's now doing over 6 figures in revenue. She's cranking it out. She teaches designers how to leverage online events like craft shows and other types of shows where you're literally selling directly to consumer, into leveraging those people into website customers and using that to help build your email list, which I think is so, so powerful. And she's just been one of our superstars. She's been in our community for a long time. And now she's done so well in her business. She's now one of our Diamond Insiders coaches and also an SOS coach, because she's just amazing. She knows like our framework back and forth, and she's committed. I get texts from her at least, like, I feel like, Robin, you probably do too, at least once a week, talking about another win that she's had because of something that we did, we helped her with, which is so cool.
It's so joyful to see somebody embrace what's out there, what we give them, and really run with it.
Yeah.
And her business, like you said, something happened in her life that she did not expect. So it really she had to pivot, and that she had the tools to do that.
100%. So another designer that also found us through our Laying the Foundation course, she was only 1 year in business. She either took the first or second course, is Melissa Camilleri Anasich of Shop Compliment. She used storytelling to connect with her dream avatar, which is, teachers who really believe in giving back to their students. And so she's become like one of the go-to brands for people to buy for teachers, or for teachers to gift to other people, because she gives back a portion of the sales that she makes to build scholarships for people in her local area of Sacramento. So it's been really fundamental in growing her business. She's also one of our coaches because she's so good at what she does, and she's really learned how to take this storytelling aspect to kind of weave it through everything that she does to kind of continue to grow her business. And she's doing like over 5 figures a month now. When she met us, she was like thinking about going back to working full-time as a teacher, and she wanted to give it just one more try. And within, 3-4 months of working with us, she ended up paying herself for the first time and deciding to commit to herself and her business, which allowed her to, build this great brand, Compliment Inc., which is super cool. So anyway, if this can work for them, it can work for you guys. And I just want to remind you that building a successful business starts with laying the foundation with the right tools, and learning and discovering how to really leverage your desired sharing proposition and weave it throughout your brand and tell incredible stories every single day. And I want you to stick with me for this, because when you can tell incredible stories every single day, it becomes second nature, and sharing stories about what you stand for and why, that connect with your dream customers, making this about them, is what is actually going to sell a ton of your jewelry. And I hear people all the time saying that they're getting basically 0 sales on their website and they're not getting any traffic. And this is where it starts, through storytelling and learning how to leverage the things that you do best. And so if you're interested in checking out Laying the Foundation and more, we'll have a link over at the show notes, but you can also head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/LTF. Robin, let's talk a little bit about the different phases of storytelling in your business, shall we?
Love it. Yes.
So in the beginning, really creating stories, it's really about understanding how to dive into those key elements that make it exciting or suspenseful or whatever it is. And so we're not going to really completely dive into that right now because we have a great podcast episode. I'm going to mention a couple of podcast episodes as well in this. Episode 130 is the 11 key elements of a remarkable brand story. And this is all about making your brand story your biggest marketing tool and then being able to leverage it across these different platforms. And so we're not going to totally go into the elements because you can listen to that podcast later. But when we talk about storytelling in business, I think a lot of people just think about their about page or a maker video, like some of the surface details. But storytelling can really be used in so many different areas, all over your website, in the blog content that you create, in all of your social media content. If you're someone who uses YouTube to attract customers, it can be used in your YouTube channels. And, it can be leveraged basically across all these different platforms to help connect buyers to your brand. And when I say buyers, that we're meaning anyone who will buy your product, whether it's someone in the wholesale realm or someone who is just a regular human being who it finds you and discovers you. Robin, what would you like to add about that?
Well, I just want to add that I think sometimes we're so timid about sharing who we are. And that is, storytelling in sales is about connection and relationships. And the more people feel connected to you, people honestly want to get to know you. And the more you can provide them with, who you are and what's going on in your life or what you've experienced or what has driven you to do jewelry or what's inspired you to do jewelry really speaks to people. So I think the thing is, don't hold back. It would be my...
Yeah, Robin, how have you kind of used stories in when you were, if you were to think back to Dog Eared when you were selling their products or whatever to these great stores, how would you, how have you advised the people that you're coaching to, share kind of use their story as a leveraging point for sales?
Well, I think the first thing is get really clear on your why. Why are you doing this? What has, like I said, inspired you to create jewelry? Maybe it's the story of when you were little and you used to try on your grandmother's jewelry and it's something you've always loved. Those are beautiful stories. Dog-eared, for me, just as an example, I really love the owners of Dog-eared, how they came about designing jewelry. The fact that words for Marcia Maisel Clark, who's the owner and designer, her words were super important to her, and how that really was how she developed her line is based on words and connection. And the other thing too is I really would listen to the customer because I want to find out about them because it helps me with, sharing the story of the line. So it's kind of a give and take, but you have to be really clear on where you're coming from. And I just, on a side note, want to say that with your story, not everyone's going to be, running after you saying, I want to buy your product or I want to get to know you. And that's okay. I think it's really being okay with, we always talk about trying to cast a wide net and you don't catch many fish when you do that. So being really clear on your story and really listening to your customer and, sharing from your heart. Brene Brown, who is amazing, has this wonderful quote, and I don't remember all of it, but I do know that it talks about business today. And business today is about heart. And people want to be connected with your heart.
People want to buy things that matter to them. And this is where it becomes really important to be able to talk about what you value and the values of your business and find people, stores, accounts, and all those things that align with it. I think this is a big mistake that people don't consider when they're actually reaching out and trying to attract customers is that they just, try to sell that, like you were saying, the wide net thing, try to sell to everyone instead of just a specific person. And when you can get super specific you can become, as Donald Sutherland says, of building a story brand, the guide to in your customer story. And it's not really about just when you do this really well, you are able to guide people along the buying process and make it about them instead of being the hero of the story. Like you always want to be the guide instead of the hero, moving them through the story so that they can connect and feel like they're the hero of their own story and your jewelry is the center of that story. So it's really powerful. And I think a great way, we talk a lot about maker videos over here. And yesterday I was interviewing one of our designers, Alex Camacho, and she just found Flourish and Thrive about 6 months ago. The girl is making insane progress with her business so quickly because she's just one of those people who's like super committed to her success. And she launched a maker video just using some of the storytelling aspects that we taught her. And the cool part about it is that she's sharing the story of like what she really stands for, because she has sort of like a, I don't want to say nature inspired, but there's this like almost like Wiccan feel. Like the brand of her jewelry brand is called Acid Queen Jewelry. And you go there and you feel like this sort of almost like witchy vibe, because there's very much like, it's very much about crystals and, natural energy. And she was able to shoot a video. She was so nervous, but to talk about the things that she does and why it matters to her customers. And she just like crushed it. And, we've helped a lot of our designers get maker videos done this last year. And if you're interested in doing a maker video yourself and learning how to leverage the story, I would highly recommend that you consider, first of all, understand, like doing the work to pull out the details of your story. And of course, like laying the foundation, but then also, listen to a couple of the podcast episodes that we've done about creating a maker video on a budget. That's episode 139. And then also using that, like understanding where to use video, other places to use video on your website. We did a whole episode on this, episode 144, or I should say. Keep saying we. It's just like a natural thing, Robin, with you here. But it's the 5 places you must use video on your website. And Robin, when we were doing a training last year, I remember we did a lot of research to find really great maker videos. And a company that does this is doing this for the designers that they carry is Twist Online. They've just done a really incredible job investing in these storytelling aspects of what they're doing to like share the stories of the designers that they carry. So if you need any inspiration and want to find a bunch in one place, I would go to Twist Online and scroll around their website to look for the maker videos inspiration. I mean, I loved Judy Geib's story. I loved Pamela Love's story. Many of the I like stalked so many of those videos because they're just done so well.
They are.
Robin, what have you heard, from store buyers about like learning through story, like through maker videos and stuff like that?
Well, not only does it help educate their team at their stores, it educates their customers too. So
100%.
A lot of times that if you've got, especially if you can have a short video, you can have a longer video maybe on your website, but have a shorter one. That I think we're coming to a time where the technology is such a part of a store that I've seen monitors up. I see that are playing stories.
Ooh, so cool.
Yeah. So I think we're going to be seeing more and more of that. And what is so important too, what I want to mention, Tracy, is that stories create connections. So it's the invitation. I think sometimes people think sales is all about pushing and selling to somebody. It's actually, if you're a good storyteller and if you have that, if you listen to your customer, you have this opportunity to invite them and pull them in. So it's much easier and nicer feeling, and it's not as hard. I mean, it really isn't.
That's so true. And a maker video is a great way to do this. And the cool thing is my videographer, Liv, and Liv is also the person who helped us tell the stories for all the designers that we were producing maker videos for this year. It's interesting because she's doing this really great thing where she's taking like the raw footage of the stories that she created and making just like 20-second really awesome social media spots. So you could like dice up your maker video and use it just for multiple versions of basically things for Instagram or for Facebook or whatever. It's just a great opportunity for you to leverage that and continue to like promote and market it so people know more about who you are, which is really cool. So I'm going to give you guys like a pretty awesome hack right now, which is all about getting product reviews. So if you sell on your website, I would definitely have some sort of product review app. There's a great one that you can get through Shopify that basically, well, if you pay for the small subscription fee, people can review it right in email. So you don't have to go back to the website to create a review, which I know Jennifer Sorallo talks of Blooming Lotus Jewelry talks about this a lot. But this is that thing has been a huge game changer for her. But when you get product reviews or also testimonials, if you're just like, you can reach out to your customers depending on your business model, whether it be stores or individuals who buy from you, and find out what they think about it, and then turn their story into the story, because there has been some research that has shown that more than 80% of consumers consult product reviews when they're actually making a purchase. So adding reviews to your site can totally lift sales by as much as 18%. But what you can do is take the reviews and the things that people are saying and turn those into stories. And so what I did, I just recently did a huge testimonial, basically revamp for my jewelry brand website. And the cool part about it is that I, met with my customers. I had them share their stories of their engagement, why they decided to come and work with me. And I'm using that all as blog content, but it will also be basically testimonial copy, which is super awesome and a great way to leverage that. But think about a product review. You can leverage that as social proof or turn it into a story. Think about like this, you could shoot like just a quick little iPhone video and say, oh my gosh, I love these, the Janice earrings that I made. These are one of my favorite pieces. Here's what Sally had to say about them. She really loved, how they felt really lightweight and that she can wear them while she's dropping her kids off to school. So you could think about that's like telling a story in a very brief way and also connecting that social proof back to why someone would want to buy it. And also identifying who the avatar is. Like Sally's a mom, she's busy, and they're easy to wear every single day when she's dropping her kids off at school. So that resonates with more people who are aligned with that kind of lifestyle, who might be like, oh, I'm a busy mom, I want like no fuss jewelry. And so think about that as you're kind of telling your stories. Like, how can you leverage things like product reviews to build trust and or testimonials to build trust and also turn them into stories? Like, that's basically what I did with all of my customers.
I love that so much. That's
Isn't that
amazing.
Cool? It's like super fun tweak.
Good. Yeah. And it's does the selling for you.
Exactly. Because
Awesome.
you're just reiterating something that someone else said.
Mm-hmm.
And I could even see you like, rolling in that video, just like show the product review like across the screen or something and use that. Or even as text, you can like repurpose these things as text stories on social media and all over. So it's awesome. And then obviously this one's obvious, like your about page is like a huge place to like tell your story, but like also keep in mind like how it matters to your customers as well. And so we did one of our top rated episodes actually of all times is episode 177, How to Transform Your Story into an Engaging About Page with Allison Morgan and Liz Reed. They have a jewelry brand and they have a really interesting story. And I did like this little workshop-y podcast with them to kind of share how because they weren't really speaking their story on their website and they were having a really hard time bringing it out to talk about what it is that they do and the evolution of their business with their customers. And so we did this really fun episode. Highly recommend it. I think you'll really enjoy it and hopefully you get some value from that. But your about page is like one of the key places, not only to share your story, but also connect with what's in it for them, for your customers. That's a lens you always have to think about when you're using storytelling. Robin, what do you love about that?
I just think, again, it's like pulling them into your story and going and touching base on kind of the different areas. It's not just, about you, but maybe what you want to accomplish with your jewelry or what inspires you to create this. So it connects, again, it's connection. I mean, we talk about that a lot, but I think it's grabbing somebody's attention that's really going to inspire them to check either become a customer or become an even more dedicated customer of yours.
Yeah. And if you can start using bits of your story to kind of weave in to why it matters, you can use this for everything, like for all your social media copy, for this, like the things that you say in the videos that you actually do, for like the promotional videos that you put out, for things that you do on Instagram stories. And, I want to talk a little bit about a brand that has really influenced me by the way that they've done storytelling. It's pretty awesome. And they're using this aspect of storytelling in their promotional videos and their ads across the board everywhere. So I'm getting served them all the time now because I've bought a couple of pairs of shoes from them now. But there's a statistic that says social commerce data found that 86% of users said that social media video impacted their purchase decision more than images, text, GIFs, and live streams. This has given rise to technology like Micmac, which integrates with Instagram and some other platforms. And so the thing that's really cool is that if people are engaging with like the video content and you're actually telling a story, this is really powerful across the board. And, I think the rise in Instagram stories or Snapchat stories really shows that people want to see that behind the scenes behind your brand. They're not just interested in knowing the basics of what makes you kind of tick. We have a lot of references for podcasts and all of this, but just thinking about how you can take what it is that you're already doing and or anything that you've already experienced about your customers and start leveraging that in all the social media aspects that you do, in all the blog content that you write. And this is all about learning how to craft a really wonderful story. I want to sidebar into a really fun, I think it's a fun sidebar. I don't know. Back when I was in the process of, back when I waited too long to hire a consultant and get to help kind of save my business that I'd built. Long story short, I started working with this consultant, Phil. Waited way too long to actually hire him. But when I actually did, my whole business changed because I learned so much about the things that I couldn't see in my business, having a mentor there to kind of highlight my gaps in business and life and all the things that I couldn't see that were connecting the dots that were causing holes actually in my business boat. So the boat was starting to sink fast because I wasn't able to see where the holes were. And I'm using a storytelling format to share this because one of the things that was really powerful about working with Phil was that he shared everything in parable. And I was kind of annoyed by it first because he kept referencing the Bible. And I'm like, what does the Bible have to do with business? But he would relate these really powerful biblical parables into business lessons that drove home so well with me. And they stuck. And it allowed me to really once I was ready to start over and kind of go for it, to use those lessons and leverage it to be here to actually teach you guys. And so this stuff works in everything that you do, whether it's in business lessons or whether it's to actually attract your perfect customers, which is more about what we're talking about here. But think about how you can leverage those stories to really connect with those people. So with that being said, social media copy, video that you do on social media, Instagram stories, and all that stuff becomes really powerful when you can share the power of your story and your customer stories to find that connection to what your dream customers value most.
Tracy, I'd love to add too.
Yes.
The behind the scenes is so cool. I've never made jewelry. I love jewelry, but I'm fascinated by the actual making and all the different processes. So whether it be sketching or actually hammering out something or, setting a stone, it's all so interesting to me. And I am your customer. So those are wonderful stories. And also too, the unpackaging. I love seeing people have when they receive their package and actually film it and unpack it is really fun. And that's something that you can ask your customers, we'd love to see you receiving your gift or, however you
unboxing videos. Is that what you're talking about?
Unboxing unboxing videos. Love that.
Awesome. Absolutely. So I absolutely love that. And you can even use unboxing videos for ads. So I found this statistic. It says 92% of consumers want brands to create ads that feel like a story. And this is where Tamara Mellon comes in, because their ads have been so incredible. And what I really feel like every time I watch them is that she's really sharing the story of who the perfect person to buy her shoes is. And they're very visually oriented. Tamara comes in on the scene, like sort of behind the scenes. Sometimes I keep getting, seeing like her sharing, some of the most powerful parts of her story, because she was originally the co-founder or the founder of Jimmy Choo. And then she talks about her journey with that and what happened once they sold the company and the changes in, the retail environment these days. And she made a really bold choice, being someone who built this really incredible brand like Jimmy Choo, to when she started her own namesake brand, Tamara Mellon, to instead of going back to retail stores, which she tried at first, but the concept that she was creating was, in the season release of shoes, so that she wasn't having to produce product so far in advance, so that she could work in real time. And the only way that they could really like pull that off well was to come to market direct to consumer. And the reason why her business is crushing it so badly is because they've really, I feel like, engaged and captured their audience with this idea of storytelling. And it's a pleasure for me to open her emails every time, because visually there's always a story told. The photography is amazing. They're using a lot of video aspects in their email marketing. And also across the board on social, like this, it is drawing me in so much that I'm like, what is this person doing so well that makes me want to buy from them? How can I replicate this? And so when I say these types of things, and Robin, I don't know what you think. We hear designers all the time saying like, I'm not making sales, or I'm not doing this, or not doing that. But the one thing that I feel like they fail to do is to think about what works on you, right?
So true.
And so like, Robin, what works on you? What are some brands that you're really drawn to? Because I know them, so you share.
Yeah. Okay, what works?
Maybe there's some new ones.
But they work for me. Sugarfina works for me.
You love it.
And I'm not a huge candy fan at all, but they grab me with their social media, with their emails, with their story. Dry Bar, totally. I was there when Dry Bar started in Los Angeles, and they've taken me through their whole journey all over the country. Let's see, Simple Green Smoothies. I mean, there are so many brands that I love to follow, because I feel like they do capture my attention, and they do a really good job of that. And it could maybe not be anything I'm super interested in, but then I become interested. I'm like kind of obsessed with the brand.
So good. You want obsessed people following you and buying everything that you buy. And, there's this blog post out there called 1,000 Raving Fans, or 1,000 True Fans is what it's called. So if you Google 1,000 True Fans, check it out. And the philosophy about this is that all you need is 1,000 true fans, and you will never have to market your business again, because those 1,000 true fans do the work for you. So if you had 1,000 true fans, they'd be buying everything as soon as you release it. They will always be responding to your emails. But what happens is that some of us only have a couple true fans, that actually will do that. So it's really about setting that foundation and continuing to find those 1,000 true fans that you can create this like obsessed culture with, where they're obsessed with your brand because they love everything that you do. And that's really the foundation of everything that we teach in the Laying the Foundation course, is how to create that obsession where people love what you do, so that you can create this fan base of raving fans. And then what that does, it trickles into everything. Yet wholesale accounts like trust you more, and they'll want to buy your product. People find you on social, and they feel connected to your company, and so they start going to your website to see what you're all about. When you do this right storytelling and the right form of SEO, and you're using it to get traffic to your site, people find you, and then when they land on your site, they're connected to your story. And when you're able to do this through all aspects of your brand, like Robin was saying earlier, it becomes really easy to take people on the brand journey and keep them connected to you for many years to come. Like some of my best fans from like way back in the day when I first started selling $25 jewelry in the 90s, like still buy from me today because they love what I do. That's almost 25 years ago, like from when I started. And so those are the kinds of people that you want to create the connections with and keep bringing them along your journey.
So Tracy, I have two things I want to say about that.
Yes.
One is that, do you remember when one of our designers, Christy Natsumi, pulled out an old Lucky magazine article with your jewelry on it?
I forgot about that, but yeah, that was so funny.
So it's true. She was a fan of yours. And then fast forward, 7 years later, or even maybe later than that, that she's one of the designers that we've had the pleasure of working with. And the other thing too is when you were talking about 1,000 true fans, here's the deal. Do you remember that commercial? I'm totally dating myself right now, but there used to be a commercial on TV. I think it was Prel shampoo or something, but they said, when you tell two friends, they'll tell two friends, and they'll tell two friends. And it is this ripple.
That's such a good one. We should find that video.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Sorry. Finish.
No, but that's it. That's what comes to mind, because it's true. When you have true fans, they are going to shout your name from the mountaintops, and they're going to bring their friends and into, they want to share it. It just becomes this whole big thing. And so that's what I totally envision. So you don't have to hit the ground and pound the pavement and really kind of shove, for lack of a better word, I'm like, you don't have to shove your story down somebody's throat, but you get to share it. And the people that get it and want to be a part of it will share it. And it's just this cool ripple effect.
And I think the best part about this too, Robin, we both experience, is that when you're able to do this well, it just comes up naturally in your sales conversations. And you're talking about things and you're able to overcome the objections of your buyers through stories of other happy people who have purchased from you.
Oh, totally. You let go so much easier. Not everyone is going to like you, and that's so okay.
I mean, think about it this way. Like, like someone's like, oh, I'm not sure about these. Like, they might be too small or too big, or like whatever the objection is. And you're looking at that person, you're like, oh, they remind me of my customer, Allison. What did Allison say about those earrings? Because she bought them and she really liked them. And she had that same hesitation when she was buying them. My customer, Allison, she thought the same thing too when she was about to buy them. And one of the things, she sent me a picture the other day, and I'll show you it on my phone, of her wearing them. She's like, I never take them off. And they're like my go-to earrings every single day because of X, Y, and Z. And so if you think about it, like once you start becoming more of a master storyteller, you can easily pick up on all those things that discover kind of ways to kind of overcome buyers' objections about why they might say no. And I don't want to say like convince them, because you're not, this isn't a hard sell tactic, but like sometimes people need a little extra guidance, and people buy for other reasons. I think this is why for so many years, the power of celebrity placements or PR had become such an important part of marketing for validity, because like there are certain people out there, I would say the majority of people don't really have their own distinctive sense of style. They kind of follow what other people do. And so they're looking to these icons or social aspects of social proof told through story that allows them to say like, look, okay, so if it's good enough for so-and-so, then it's good enough for me.
Right. When you were just talking about all that, I love it because it's an opportunity for education. People will say, oh, one of the biggest things I hear is, oh my gosh, this is too expensive. I really like it, but it's too expensive. People who really want to purchase will not say that, or they may say it and purchase anyway because they love it. But when somebody comes at you, like you said, you've got in your back pocket to be able to say, okay, this person's objecting because of the price. I have an opportunity to share with them and say, oh, my customer Amy had the same reaction, but when she purchased the piece, she's actually worn it so much that it's paid tenfold. It's like buying that dress that you're hesitant about, and you end up wearing it every single day. So really looking at those things as opportunities. I just want to share one story. I was recently at an event, and Kelly Ronci, who's in our community, who does macrame jewelry, really beautiful macrame jewelry, she was selling at this event, and a stylist friend of mine was shopping. We were shopping at her booth, and she picked up a necklace, and the stylist, my friend Michelle, started wrapping in this particular piece in many different ways, and actually showed Kelly ways that she hadn't even thought of that the piece could be worn. So what that did for Kelly is give her this wonderful information to have in her back pocket of being able to share that with other customers. And I just thought that was awesome.
So awesome. I love it. Okay, well, we've been like talking, we're chit-chat, we could chit-chat for hours, but we want to keep this in a reasonable time frame. But I'm going to leave you with some statistics to think about from onespot.com. 92% of consumers want brands that create ads that feel like a story. I mentioned that earlier. Messages delivered as stories can be up to 22 times more memorable than facts. Look, really important there. Blog posts with embedded video get linked 3 times more than text-only posts. 50% of our brains are wired to receive visual input, and infographics are shared up to 3 times more on social media. 68% of consumers find content that informs and educates them to be the most valuable. And so stories are a way to inform people and educate them. Infographics are a visual way to tell a story. And just think about how our brains are actually wired to see things. It's like we see in full color, we see in movement. And these are ways that you can really leverage everything that you're doing in your business and get your people, get your perfect customers, your 1,000 true fans, 1,000 true fans, buying into that desire journey that you're creating for them. So, Robin, thanks so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Tracy. It's always a pleasure.
I am so excited because we are open for enrollment for Laying the Foundation again this year. We're doing it a little bit differently than we have in the past. When you purchase Laying the Foundation, you get access for 6 months into our Diamond Insiders as part of the program. And we're doing a special coaching upgrade for those who like that little extra touch from our coaches. And Robin, you're going to be doing a couple of the coaching calls too. You're going to be talking about sales, talking about wholesale, talking about networking and all those sorts of things, right?
Yes. I can't wait.
And these coaching calls are really a great opportunity. We're also doing a collection development, a couple collection reviews together. I'm going to be talking about marketing. We have our mindset coach, Anna Shalina, getting your head in the right space. And Jess and Nicole from our Diamond Insiders are going to be coming in and also helping us out with some calls too, talking about brand experience and user experience, which they're both, and systems, which they're both really good at. So very excited. If you are someone who wants that extra touch and get eyes on your business, this is a great opportunity with that VIP upgrade for you to be able to tap into an opportunity to get laser coaching from our coaches because it's pretty amazing. So if you're interested in that, we'll definitely have links over at the show notes. Otherwise, you can head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/LTF and check out more. Robin, this was so fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Always super fun time. And I could talk to you forever about what we're both so passionate about, helping jewelry designers.
So true. Take care, everyone.